No Rocket Town, no me.
Well, I mean, there is a third one, which is going to be called Redemption.
Huh?
I don't know. I'm just trying to... Rebirth, I'm trying to think of all the really generic subtitles for...
The one that I would guess is Reunion, but Reunion was already used for that Crisis Core
Oh,
remaster.
that's right. Reunion would be perfect.
So,
I would say...
if I had to bet money without knowing that, I would say Reunion, but it's not going to be.
Let's see. Retextured.
Ooh.
Could be good. Repainted.
She seemed fine.
Remodeled.
A little worried.
Retribution. God, that's such a generic one.
Talk to her.
Re-Aerith.
She'll understand.
It's true.
Aerith will survive.
Really looking forward to that conversation.
The whole time, for
The
sure.
whole time. Not that, you know, there's any suggestion that she would not survive it. You know? Anyone who hasn't played the original? Anyone? Hey, leave a comment if you haven't played the original.
I would be curious if there was a way to poll people who have played the remake and the rebirth, excuse me.
Sorry,
What
we're
percentage did not play the original?
late. Yep. Really?
I mean, it's got to be some, you know. I would...
So how'd recon?
Would, like, 30 to 40% be too high?
Yeah, I would imagine it's probably a good amount, because I feel as if a lot of people that dislike the remake games are people that are, like, avid fans of the original. So it might be, like, how many people
So hurry it up. We're
that
not
played
telling
the
you guys
original
to do it.
even completed a remake. So I would say, like, 50% probably.
Is there a significant amount of people who dislike the remakes?
People are pretty mixed on the story changes and just how the game is being released piecemeal.
That's it.
I mean, I've talked about this, but
Well, like
just
the gameplay.
you just got to remember that Remake or FF7 back in 1997 was a game made with PNG pre-rendered images with very low poly models running over literally pre-rendered PNGs, and that's how the game was able to be so massive. And if they did that again on the PS5 with pre-rendered PNGs and models running over them, they just could not get away with it. And making a game like this as big and as beautiful and as feature-filled and as like how in-depth the characters are, you just cannot make Final Fantasy VII in one game. People that expected that are delusional,
Right.
in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah, instead they're making it like 3 times as long.
That is the good and bad thing about these games. I do like the expanded material, but some of it does feel like filler. But I would say for the most part, 80% of both Remake and Rebirth were good.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I don't know. I obviously really like the original, but I feel like one of the big complaints with remakes, a lot of times it's for like TV shows and movies that people get like really upset about, but like is not respecting the source material. Like there's a, I don't want to say a big thing, a very minor thing for very niche Fallout fans, where in the Fallout TV show they have a blackboard where they have like a certain date written on it, and people are saying that like they did that on purpose because that date would mean that Fallout New Vegas didn't happen. Essentially, is that's making it really, really, really simple. And they didn't really do anything like that. Like, yeah, they changed a lot of the story with the whispers and all that kind of stuff, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not talking down FF7 original, because that's one of my favorite games of all time. I would say as a package, as of right now, without Part 3 being released, I would definitely choose the original FF7 over these games. But I do really like these games. They're good.
Oh, yeah. And
it's
like
just
I said,
like Final Fantasy VII was such a special game made in such a specific era, and I think it was just executed so well, for the most part.
The big thing is they really did respect the source material.
Yeah. And this game, it's hard to get mad at anything that they changed, like, negatively, because they really went out of their way to make this, like, its own thing. Even in, like, a meta sense, because they're really, like, you know, like, at the end of Part 1, you have literally the thoughts of the original game's events, like, going through their heads in the final battle. and they're like battling against like the thing that wants the original game to happen, no matter what. And after you defeat it, you're like, okay, I guess we're like break the chains of these events.
Bro. They finally did it. That's Sapphire Weapon. Do you remember from
I really yeah, it's Sapphire Weapon. I really hope that these aren't the weapons. I just hope they're generic weapons. Because if if Ruby and Emerald look like those, I'd be so disappointed. But
no, I get it.
They don't show up in this game. In the original, they don't show up until the North Crater part.
Maybe maybe they put that in there not only to like tease it, but also to get like a general sentiment of how fans felt about it. Even though you see it for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe you see it more later.
They show up later, but yeah, just wait.
Yeah. I always wonder.
But I really, when we were talking about it between you, me, and Big Mike, I think that these are not going to be what Ruby and Emerald Weapon end up being. I think that they're just generic. And I think when the planet, like, when, in the OG, when Cloud gives Sephiroth the Black Materia, and North Crater, like, starts falling apart, and they escape on the high wind, and all the weapons wake up all at once, I think that's, like, when they'll really, like, show up for real.
Yeah, it makes sense. Did they ever, in the original game, name the weapon that was shot by the Junon cannon? I don't know why that came to my head.
I don't know. Diamond?
No, it's
It's
Sister Ray.
That's actual canon.
Yeah, the cannon, but did they name like the?
Oh yeah, I guess Diamond is.
Yeah, it's the weapon. It's Diamond Weapon, or it's a weapon. I'm pretty sure it's like.
I don't think it has a name because Diamond.
It is named.
Yeah, Diamond Weapon's the one you fight in like Gungaga. No, it's not Gungaga. That other like small town place.
Yeah.
Well, don't you shoot it and then you fight it?
Yeah, that's the one that it's heading towards Midgar and you have to fight it on the ground. It's kind of a weird one.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the one in Disc 2 where it goes right up next to the Junon cannon, the Sister Ray, and just gets obliterated.
Yeah, it like dies. I don't think Cloud fights it at all. It just gets obliterated.
I am so curious to see if they're going to actually have you go underwater in the
so that's
submarine.
That's the pyrite weapon, I believe.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I remember hearing the word
Fool's Gold?
Onyx back in the day, but that's probably not it. But yeah, I love in video games, I don't want to say unintentionally scary parts, but truly horrifying parts in non-horror games. Like, for instance, I don't care if I'm level 99 in FF7, when you have to go underwater in the sub, and you just never know if Emerald Weapon will be just right next to you when you go down. It is... And obviously you would have saved 5 seconds before, but it is so frightening to just not know where he is. I've probably said this 5 times before in the course of the channel, but another great example is the sewer level from Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, which I did play on this channel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great...
It is a non-horror game, but oh my god, it is ridiculously scary. I'm just so curious to how they're gonna do like the size discrepancy of what the weapons probably should be like to actually exist as they are in this game. Like, is it gonna be like Shadow of the Colossus? Are you gonna be fighting like their toes? You know, like I just can't see that.
In terms of like it being like a gameplay thing, it's gonna be so weird.
Yeah, this is the part I was talking about earlier, where they were just like, how can we kill these things off? And they're just like, bleh.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
All the Sephiroth clones want a reunion. Or goes to the reunion.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of like 1% upset now that they use the word reunion on that Crisis Core game.
It doesn't even make sense because reunion has nothing to do with
I never
Crisis
thought
Core.
about it, but remake, rebirth, reunion. It's literally perfect.
Yeah.
But they can't use it now because that... Well, at least I would think they wouldn't. Do you want Crisis Core reunion or FF7 reunion?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a very weird name because Crisis Core, I really have no idea what reunion even like stands for in that game.
Oh, we're playing as Yuffie!
This part's pretty fun. You know what this the fact that the level cap's 70?
Yeah.
What was the level cap in the first, like 40?
50.
50. You know what this reminds me of? The dot hack games. They were really weird with their level caps.
What is Barret equipped with? It looks stupid.
It's called the high caliber rifle. This is the strongest attack.
Wow,
one.
161.
What?
Attack. At least it looked like
Oh
it.
yeah.
Sorry, Barret, it looks stupid.
It's over.
I'm sorry. I was caught off guard by Barret just yelling.
After this battle, they're playing, I think it's Descendants of Shinobi, the song.
Yeah, very comfy. It's from intermission, but it's still great. Oh, they stopped it.
That song, by the way, is one of the most fun songs to ever play on acoustic guitar. I'm not very good at it, but it's one of those ones that you gotta finger pick,
Ooh,
and it's
that's cool.
pretty cool.
Gotta use that grappling hook. Shouldn't be a problem for you, right?
Luckily, Yuffie is 60 pounds.
Literally. And then Cloud has to do it later, and I mean, he's still, you know, pretty small, but...
He is
At least
70 pounds.
At least he has the excuse of having, like, being a Genova superhuman.
Yeah. I think Barret just breaks everything.
Break the grappling hook.
Legitimately, if the same rules apply for humans as they do for these characters, Barret would be no less than 400 pounds?
Yeah, easily 400.
I mean, he's like
6'10", and just look at his, like, muscle is way more dense than
right.
fat.
So not even including obviously the gun arm. That's not fair to include with the weight, but like absolute bare minimum 350.
I would say high 200s.
There's absolutely no way.
I would say that there is, it's actually the most likely scenario.
I mean,
And you are living in a world of fantasy. 300 pounds? Come on.
dude, there's like NFL players that are like 6'4" and very muscular, and they're like 320.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just making, I'm just being contrarian for no reason.
Oh, okay. Because like Barret is minimum 6'10", probably like 7 foot something.
This is like the area
I just
I would
like
know
thinking
the
about it.
least.
I just like it's fun to think about.
By the way,
And Yuffie cannot
By
possibly
the
be more
way,
than less
if
than 90.
these weren't yellow, I wouldn't see them.
It's true. What if they just did the bottom one yellow?
I just wish they were more. It's not even yellow. I just wish they were more organic.
Why
looking.
would
They're
it
just copy
be
pasted.
better if the only one was yellow? Why would that make sense?
It would look less
No,
dumb.
it would not look. It would be less natural.
All of that being yellow is more natural than one
Let's
being
drop
That
it.
is
I'm
correct.
so
That
sick
is-
of
that
this.
is
All right,
100%
Ben.
correct. No, I'm not going to drop it because I'm right.
yellow. Okay, you're right.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying this whole time.
We got it. We are good.
Oh, thank God.
But yeah, Yuffie literally could not... I agree with Trevor. Like, maybe 90 pounds. Like, absolute max.
She's like 5 foot flat. Look at her build. She's like 80 pounds.
Right. I bet there is... It might even be in, like, the FF7 strategy guide. They might, Old Japanese games love putting, in their bios like their exact height and weight for different characters
And blood type.
and blood type. Yes, you are correct. That has always been a thing too. I wonder if like there's a FF7 companion or a strategy guide that's like that actually says their heights and weights.
Yeah, no, they always do that stuff where they just have the statistics that no one either.
I don't know my blood type.
They're-
Like I know my height and weight,
either.
but
I
I
don't
don't.
either.
Who? I mean, all right. I guess if you give blood often, you would know your blood type.
Yeah.
But what percentage of people know their blood types? Like 10?
Like, I bet if Nicholas was here, he could tell us his blood type.
Does he donate blood a lot?
All the time.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know how he has any blood left.
I bet he makes more.
I don't know if that's possible. But,
What?
yeah, he just donates blood all the time. Blood type is something that
Because
he
he
always knows.
Because he wants to, or because of money? Or I'm not saying he needs money, but or like because of both.
I think just because he thinks it's a decent thing to do.
That's cool.
I mean, he's certainly not, like, hurting for
Right,
yeah.
right. And when I said that, I wanted to make it clear.
I mean, frankly, I could probably... Actually, you know what? I should ask my brother for money.
Gosh.
Is Nick still unemployed, or did he find something?
He's not using all of it. I should have some of it.
He did. I talked to him at, what was the last thing? Easter. And he's been employed for a while.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I think the last time I talked to him about it was like last summer, I think, and he had like kind of like a summer of George, where he was just like, I don't care, I'm not getting a job for a while, I'm gonna chill.
Honestly,
And then he got to the point where he was like, yeah, I really need a job, I'm gonna go crazy.
honestly, don't know. I don't remember where he's working, but he's got an alright gig. He's actually coming down next weekend. We're going down to the doxing myself. Not really. Going down to the Coffin Bar in Lancaster.
Yeah, I've definitely heard about that place.
He went last time he was with the. Last time he came down with his partner, or I don't know how they define it. I don't ask about his like relationship or whatever. But last time they were there, they went to the Coffin Bar, and now they're both coming down, and they're going to the Coffin Bar again. So they must both really like it.
That's cool. I heard that the whole general motif of like the undead coffin, whatever, goth kind of stuff.
It's
people have been
coffin-y.
like. Yeah. I don't care what motif something is, it is literally too expensive to eat out anywhere, so I just don't.
I think it's nice every once in a while.
I agree, but I don't want to do it just it would be rude for me to do it just myself, and to take a family of 4 to eat anywhere is like not cheap, so I just offer to cook instead for them. And I like cooking, so it works out.
Yeah.
That's just me.
That's why I didn't have a family.
Well, I saw on social media, there's like, everyone's always complaining one way or another about like tipping and stuff like that. And I saw a bunch of...
Are people complaining
oh
about
my
tipping?
God, all the time. Well, it's one way or the other, because like servers are like, people don't tip enough, and other people are like, we do, and whatever, it's a whole thing. And I saw a bunch of servers would always say on these posts,
You okay?
if you can't afford...
Oh, okay.
If you can't afford to tip, don't eat out. So I don't eat out. I mean, I can't afford to tip.
I mean, that's probably the most defensible position. I would agree with that. If you can't afford to tip, like, yeah.
I get it, and it's not that I can't afford it. It's just I don't want to eat out, so I just don't. And then restaurants are like, why are people
but
not?
Also, the same result.
That's true. I like when restaurants are like, people aren't eating out anymore, and it's like, yes.
It's because it's really expensive.
Right. And some of that's not their fault.
It's really nice, right? Actually, I would say like the whole like DoorDash kind of economy, the gig getting that kind of food delivered to your door is like kind of like more significant than like people just not wanting to eat out.
I don't know how people do DoorDash. It is like so expensive.
Absurdly expensive. It doesn't make any sense.
Like normal items are like 20 to 25% more on it, and people do it like all the time. I can't. I'm too cheap. I'll just go pick it up myself.
Yeah,
and there's definitely privilege in that. I get it,
absurd.
having a car and stuff like that. Although a lot of people who do DoorDash live in the city.
Yeah,
and the whole thing about living in a city is it's walkable. Okay, then
yeah. What would you do like in the past, right? You just wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get a cup of coffee, right?
I can't imagine having coffee DoorDash. It would be so
I've
awful.
seen people do it, and it's absurd. It ends up being like $20 for like a cup of coffee, and it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's the most insane thing.
Well, not only that, but if it was hot coffee, it would not be hot by the time you got it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And if it was iced, it wouldn't be like. It would be like at least somewhat watered down.
Yeah,
Also,
it was slightly melted. Yeah.
Also, still now you can brew a cup of coffee for like 20 cents.
Right.
You can have an entire pot of it for 20 cents.
Yeah, you do have to buy the whole. I mean, it doesn't cost that much.
A Mr.
Like,
Coffee costs like
a Mr.
$30.
Coffee, but everyone's like thinking like, oh, I have to get a Keurig. I have to get a Keurig.
Well,
and
you literally do not.
And I have to get a Keurig, and I have to get the pods. You know that. And that's my Keurig consumer voice.
That is what they sound like, actually. Yeah, I'm a member of, for whatever reason, this Dunkin' Donuts Facebook group where all they do is like, it's people who work there and big fans, and they just like complain about Dunkin' Donuts. And apparently there's a thing that people do where they'll like order the most ridiculous coffee humanly possible. I'm talking like a normal large coffee has 4 cream, 4 sugar, and they'll be like 24 cream, 24 sugar, or 24 cream, 40 sugar. And apparently what people do is they order it and then they go home and use their own. Essentially, it's not coffee by that point, right? So they use it as their creamer. It's essentially just a really fancy creamer. And then they use it as a creamer at home for, I assume, multiple cups of coffee. And I was like, I guess it makes sense, but also coffee creamer's like $3.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't get it. I will say, seeing people, when they post pictures of people's orders, and like I'll order, every Friday we get Dunkin' Donuts, and we get just like the standard 4 cream, 4 sugar, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty sweet. And when I see people who get like 12 cream, 12 sugar, I'm like, how do you function with your absolute diabetes? How do you do it, my man?
So Yuffie's familiar with like several different operating systems or something?
I think she just pressed buttons.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna stop here because I did not practice this fight.
So essentially,
all right.
Essentially, what Yuffie did was she bypassed the compressor, which I think is the line that they say in Star Wars: Force Awakens when Rey fixes the Millennium Falcon.
All right. So next time we're gonna kick this guy's butt.
No, actually, he is extremely difficult. So.
No, we're gonna look at this guy's butt and we're gonna kick it.
All right, let's kick some booty. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.